Gina McLean. Well, first, I want to raise. And then second, I don't believe in charter schools. I think they're terrible.
Why are they terrible?
Because there's no accountability. And so when there's no accountability, how do you know the students are doing well? What kind of curriculum are they putting out? Well, how come they're, what are the student outcomes? And then there's no accountability in terms of even what the teachers are doing and seeing, and I mean there just isn't, and it becomes very private. I mean when it's privately, when it becomes to where it's like a private entity, it becomes much more difficult to regulate, and especially because I'm a special education teacher. I mean, then we get, in terms of funding, we get circumvented, which is sad.
And is it true that charter schools pick and choose? They cherry pick the students?
Yes, definitely. Some definitely do. There's definitely people that they turn down. Actually, I mean, yeah, they sit there. No, you don't qualify. You don't. My special my students with disabilities. That is somebody that they definitely limit in terms of access to these charter schools.
So they leave it to the public schools, and they siphon off money from the public schools.
And then they get the top cream of the crop, as well as parents, if you think about it. I mean, usually the parents that are more involved are the ones that are seeking out, alternatives, and so are their own children. And so you're talking about usually people that have high incomes and not at all like what we need. And we need them involved in our public school systems. We don't need them in our charter schools. If they were more involved in the charter school systems, maybe they can make a difference and changes.
Going to privately run schools?
Oh, no, because again, there's no, they don't have any accountability. There's no one that's monitoring them, making sure that those funds are used appropriately. No one is going to say, hey, we're going to treat you equally. What about the LGBTQ rights? What about, students with disability rights? There's all these rights that need to be covered. What about even racial equality? They don't care.
It's run by KIP Foundation. KIP is owned by John L. Fisher of the GAP Foundation. They want to take over the land at the ballpark. What are these billionaires doing involved in education like this?
They want to make money. They're in the business to make money. They're not in the business to educate your child. They're in the business to make money, and they think this is the best way to do it.
You feel pretty angry about it?
Oh, I'm frustrated because, I'm a new teacher, and I've spent a lot of money and a lot of energy and time and effort, and I care a lot about my students, and I just don't think it's a really good idea to, basically make money off their backs.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Gina McLean.
Can you talk about why you're here?
Yes, I don't want any more charter schools in my district.
Why is that?
Because I have one now that has been driven my elementary school right out of almost existence. And it should have been torn down 2 years ago and rebuilt, but because of this charter school, they weren't able to.
You think charters, you're saying that they affect the other public schools?
Of course they do. Financially and economically, children-wise, they're taking the children from what is, to me, a way the parents need to fight. If they're having problems with their kids in school, they need to fight with the school district, not bring other schools in here to thinking that will deal with the problem.
Charters say that they have a better education plan?
I don't. I've seen those charter kids out on fields playing during the day, and I don't see where they're being educated like that. So, no, I don't. I haven't seen one yet.
How has it affected Richmond? There are a lot of charters that want to come here. For some reason, they like Richmond?
I have no idea. This was my second time. This was my first time hearing about one coming. The other one just showed up on my children's elementary campus, where one day they were there, and then the kids were no problem getting ready to go to start the new school year, and then before the school year started, I saw all these little what they call them, portables being put on their campus and fenced off, and that just made me mad that we had no say in that action.
Parents consulted about these charters?
I never heard anything. I'm a grandparent. I never saw any paperwork come home from the school district.
You think the public should be giving money to privately run schools?
I don't. That was I was under the impression charter schools were going to have their own financing, but I'm finding out that is not the case, and especially now that the lady up in Washington has granted all this money.
Betsy DeVos, you don't believe in her?
Please. My intelligence is a little bit more superior than having to say anything about her other than she shouldn't be in charge. Because if that's all she thinks of is charter school, she's in the wrong place. All schools, public, charter, whatever, they need to stand on their own. We give money, our tax monies, to the public schools, leave our tax money alone. They want to bring a charter school, have their own doggone property, build their own school with their own money.
They have a lot of billionaires supporting them. They can probably afford it.
Then they should be able to find their own location that is not booting out these children's schools.
Can you talk about why you're here?
Yes, I don't want any more charter schools in my district.
Why is that?
Because I have one now that has been driven my elementary school right out of almost existence. And it should have been torn down 2 years ago and rebuilt, but because of this charter school, they weren't able to.
You think charters, you're saying that they affect the other public schools?
Of course they do. Financially and economically, children-wise, they're taking the children from what is, to me, a way the parents need to fight. If they're having problems with their kids in school, they need to fight with the school district, not bring other schools in here to thinking that that will deal with the problem.
Charters say that they have a better education plan?
I don't. I've seen those charter kids out on fields playing during the day, and I don't see where they're being educated like that. So, no, I don't. I haven't seen one yet.
How has it affected Richmond? There are a lot of charters that want to come here. For some reason, they like Richmond?
I have no idea. This was my first time hearing about one coming. The other one just showed up on my children's elementary campus, where one day they were there, and then the kids were no problem getting ready to go to start the new school year, and then before the school year started, I saw all these little what they call them, portables, being put on their campus and fenced off, and that just made me mad that we had no say in that action.
Parents consulted about these charters?
I never heard anything. I'm a grandparent. I never saw any paperwork come home from the school district.
You think the public should be giving money to privately run schools?
I don't. That was I was under the impression charter schools were going to have their own financing, but I'm finding out that is not the case, and especially now that the lady up in Washington has granted all this money.
Betsy DeVos, you don't believe in her?
Please. My intelligence is a little bit more superior than having to say anything about her other than she shouldn't be in charge. Because if that's all she thinks of is charter school, she's in the wrong place. All schools, public, charter, whatever, they need to stand on their own. We give money, our tax monies, to the public schools, leave our tax money alone. They want to bring a charter school, have their own doggone property, build their own school with their own money.
They have a lot of billionaires supporting them. They can probably afford it.
Then they should be able to find their own location that is not booting out these children's schools. Rosie Webb, and I have written to the district and the county about this.
Good evening, board members. My name is Sam Soshin. I'm a school psychologist. With the year of trained, highly qualified teachers and school psychologists, last year our department lost 3 highly trained psychologists due to increasing costs in the Bay Area, and we also still have 2 opening and trauma-focused work. Our training enables us to address school-wide supports, teach trauma-informed practices, and collaborate with other staff. We need to raise salaries for all our educators and work to reduce classroom size in order to make this a destination district. Losing 80% of educators in at least 5 years. I felt that when I was at King Elementary. We need to enable our educators to be successful. Retaining educators will help us be a destination district. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Natalie Ponce. These are my classmates. I'm from Lake. Everybody from Lake, can you stand up?
Good evening, board. I'm John Ames.
We are here to show tonight that we are a union standing together in solidarity to support an effort that we have built over a long period of time. It is beyond time to raise teacher salaries to competitive levels. We cannot afford to wait. At my school, 44 out of 64 teachers are within their first or second year of teaching at our schools. Our teachers want to stay. We love working with our students, but at my school we have a teacher commuting from Lathrop, 2 teachers commuting from Sacramento, and it only takes a month of that driving to discover that economically you cannot make it work. Please make it possible for our teachers to stay.
Computers cannot diagnose and help students at their level. That's what teachers are for. I think computers replacing teachers is absolutely a ridiculous concept.
And so Rocketship says they can use computers efficiently and makes things better. You don't agree with that? Or?
I absolutely do not agree with that. I think education is about one-on-one, human-to-human contact. I think computers have absolutely no place in our classroom, but I think they should be used sparingly and not as the basis for all education.
Do you think it might physically affect and harm students if they're in front of a screen 2 or 3 hours a day?
Absolutely. Our students currently have too much screen time as it is. They need to learn to be problem solvers and critical thinkers, not regurgitating information to a computer.
And what's your name again?
My name is Jennifer Benda and I'm from Riverside.
And Rocketship is owned by the KIPP Foundation. The KIPP Foundation is owned by John L. Fisher from the Gap Foundation. They're trying to get land for the stadium. What is going on with
privatization? Yeah, the privatization of public education, which means you can pick and choose the students that you choose to serve when all students deserve to be served equally. I think it's very unfair, and I think that students who do not fit into a certain mold are then discarded.
You think that there's people are turning against charters because they came in with a lot of marketing publicity, they're going to do wonderful things and they're going to really make education better?
I think that they think that money makes education better. I think people make education better, not money.
And do you think that public money should be going to privately run schools?
Absolutely not. Absolutely, as a taxpayer and a homeowner in Richmond, I think my public money and my tax money should go to public education, absolutely not to a charter.
Well, the West Contra Costa School Board may reject it, but then it goes to the county board. They may approve it, and also the State Board of Education. They've been approving these charters regardless of local feeling of people. What do you think about the state approval of charters?
I think the state is on board with the privatization of education because it means more money. And I don't think that the children should be bought. I think that children deserve a free and public education, absolutely unrelated to money and what their parents pay. I think everybody has a right to an equal education. And privatization allows them to pick and choose who they will educate. And I think it's very unfair.
Thank you. You're a teacher?
I am a teacher.
Where are you a teacher?
I'm a teacher at Riverside Elementary. I've been teaching for 23 years in this district.
It's true that charters cater to the same student population as authentic public schools because every charter student enrolled is a result of an application process. The application process itself guarantees that charters have student populations that come exclusively from education-interested families. The Institute for Policy Studies recently came out with a report that Gates, Buffett, and Bezos have a combined worth equal to that of 160 million people in the bottom half of the U.S. population. It turns out that many members of charter boards of directors are hedge fund managers and Silicon Valley venture capitalists. Meg Whitman is on Summit's board, and Caliber Foundation Ron Beller, a very powerful international financier with some shady dealings in tax havens like Cyprus, and whose Euro hedge funds saw a return of 80% in 2007 by shorting subprime securities. Subprime mortgages rip the heart out of many of the low-income communities, and Rocketship fits this pattern too. Thank you.
My name is Carlos Taboada. I'm a retired teacher. Good evening, Superintendent Duffy and honorable board members. I'm here to support without questions the honorable teachers' demand for their 14%. That's what we deserve. That's what is due to them. And what I have to say about Rocketship, I think it should be best addressed to the community. Rocketship is just one more of the 13 charters that we already have. They are the drop of water that is going to drown our district. They are no good or bad charters. They are bad and worse charters. And the worst thing that we can do is do nothing. And let us don't be misled. If we succeed in convincing this gentleman behind me to vote against their petition, Rocketship will do what all the charters have done and go to the county for approval. And they will get it. And if by chance they should be denied, they can always go to the governor. So we are against Rocketship and all charters. They tell us that Rocketship is run by multi-millionaires interested only in their money. They represent corporate power. But let me tell you, that can be said of every other charter.
My name is Patricia Ponce, and I live in San Pablo, California. And I have nephews and a niece that go currently to Lake School. I'm a former Lake School student. My oldest child, who's now 23, is a former Lake School student, and my twins, who are now in high school, Pinot Valley High, are former Lake School students. So I have a big history with Lake School. I was one of the defendants of trying to keep Lake School open almost 10 years ago. And I also advocated for them to keep the school open, plus try to build a brand new school, which is in the works right now. But now we're being hit by charter schools wanting to come into our community. And that's a big no-no for a lot of us parents, because we know that charter schools, they say they're nonprofit, but in reality they are for profit. I'm here tonight to object to Rocketship Charter School coming into San Pablo, and we have enough schools in San Pablo, and I'm hoping that our community leaders can back us up with this and say no to the current Rocketship Charter School wanting to come in, as well as other charter schools. And there's a lot of data and reasons for the reasons for that. But again, I'm here because I care about our community school. We have a great team of community workers and our community appointed officials who believe in a community schools, and that's how we want to keep it in San Pablo.
Who's on the record? I can connect Marie. He's in KPFA, local radio. So she's our Bay Area regional director.
Okay, can you talk about Rocketship and what you're here for tonight?
Yeah, Rocketship, we're a network, we're a nonprofit network of public charter elementary schools, and we're here to present on our charter application to petition the West Contra Costa Unified School District for a new charter for San Pablo.
And what is the Rocketship school advantage? Why should the people of Richmond support this in West Contra Costa School District?
Well, we've been around for 10 years, and Rocketship Schools is a high-performing schools. We're in the top 10% of California schools compared to other charter school networks and traditional public schools serving similar populations.
Some of the people here have said that they're unaccountable, they cherry-pick students, and there are a lot of schools already in Richmond. I mean, how would you answer those concerns?
Well, I would say that Rocketship Schools is available to all kids. We are a public school. We are publicly funded. We are operated through a nonprofit, and we have a lottery system, so all children who apply, all families who choose to come to our school are eligible for enrollment.
And we're not coming to Richmond.
No, we're serving the children of West Contra Costa County, and we're looking to serve San Pablo, which has no charter schools at this point.
And who are on your board of directors?
We have a wide list of members on our board. They're on our website if you'd like to see them.
Are you part of the KIPP Foundation?
No.
You're not owned by the KIPP Foundation?
No.
We don't get any money from them.
Who owns the chain?
I don't have that answer. We're Rocketship Public Schools.
Who is in control of Rocketship?
The board of directors.
We have a board of directors.
Do we get money from the California Charter School Association?
Do we get money from the Charter School Association? The Charter School Association is an organization that oversees the accountability and provides development support for our charter schools. They're not a funding organization.
Do you think that the public should be giving money to privately run schools that don't have elected boards?
I can't answer that question, but I do know that we're not privately run. We're a public school.
Do you have a private board?
I'm sorry?
Is your board elected?
Our board is appointed.
So it is a privately run school, isn't it?
Not at all. We're a public board, just like any other nonprofit. Nobody in a nonprofit organization, board members don't run for the seats; they're appointed.
Yeah, but I mean, the public gives you money for your students. Shouldn't the public be voting on who the board is that runs the school?
That's what we're doing tonight.
We're talking about that tonight.
They don't run well, this board does not run the school, do they?
But they can shut it down. They approve it and they can shut it
but
down.
I mean, the money that's going to the school, I mean, the public is not voting on the board that runs the school.
Okay.
Is that true?
Technically, yeah.
Yeah, so it's not really a publicly run school, is it?
I disagree with that.
It's run by a nonprofit, and nonprofits boards are not elected.
Some nonprofits are elected.
Oh, we're getting started. Excuse me, thank you.
Well, we know the game is rigged. They say we should speak truth to power, but talk is just conversation. Power understands power. Okay? And I think that, but we need to show them the power of the organized committee, the organized community, to say that this is the end of it. We are tired of playing your game. We're going to be bounced from here to the county. If we succeed in convincing this board to deny the Rocket petition, they're going to run to the county, and the county will surely approve it. And if by chance the county denies it, they're going to go to the governor, and he owns a charter school, so he will approve it. So we are tired of this game. And there's really nothing unusual about Rocketship. Yes, it's run by a multi-millionaire. Their teaching product is worth garbage, really. They are the skill in our profession. But hey, we can say that about practically all the charters in our district. So let's not be misled by all this gimmick and this fake protest. We need to organize the community and show them that that's where the power is, and only that is going to stop them. Sí, yeah. Sí, hay mucho que decir sobre estas llamadas escuelas charter. Lo importante es esto. Yo leí un boletín donde se les llamaba escuelas autónomas, y no, ese es el término equivocado. Son escuelas subvencionadas, escuelas subsidiadas. Están subvencionadas con nuestro dinero destinado para la comunidad que envía a sus hijos a las escuelas públicas. Las escuelas públicas son escuelas democráticas. Tenemos una mesa directiva que es elegida por los votantes del distrito. No millonarios que ocupan su puesto por dedazo de esta o cual mesa directiva. Es de suma importancia que la comunidad latinoamericana se organice y actúe con fuerza para demostrar que nosotros queremos la educación pública, apoyamos la educación pública, y que solo unidos podemos corregir los muchos defectos que hay en nuestro distrito. Huyendo a las escuelas charters no es la solución. Huyendo a las escuelas charters solo perjudicamos al resto de las familias de nuestra comunidad que siguen asistiendo a la verdadera educación pública.
What is that? What are you?
Well, mostly we don't pay Jack. People survive for about 2 years, then they leave. You have a long system of endless new teachers who are learning, and a lot of veterans go because they go somewhere else there's more money. If you want people to stay, you got to pay them something. If they can go somewhere else and make more money, especially with the medium house price the way it is right now. Why would they stay at WCCSD?
Where are all these charters coming from?
What now?
Where are all the charters coming from?
Where are the charters coming from? I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there's a suggestion.
Are billionaires?
People with
I think the Rocketship chain is run by KIP Foundation. KIP Foundation is run by John L. Fisher, who's one of the owners of the Gap Corporation. They want to buy the ballpark. You think there's a connection between these people?
Surprise me. There's a lot of people who think they know something about teaching who don't teach. And they got money to throw around because, of course, they got money because they don't teach. If they were teaching, they wouldn't have money to throw around now, would they? Yes, people who think they know what they're doing. Plus, they won't take the kids that they don't want. So, how's that America?
And I understand a lot of the charters are not paying into the California teachers, CalSTRS. they're undermining your pension system. Are you aware of that?
I am aware that if they don't have enough kids, they don't let you teach, and if you don't teach, you're not part of the system. I've seen that happen for real.
Currently, we have 13 contractors and we continue to need more. Speech therapists who are contemplating on applying for a district are not willing to work under challenging work conditions without reasonable incentives. Please stand up with us for healthy salaries and highly qualified educators. Let's give good reason for educators to want to stay in our district, work hard, and raise our students up to aspire, achieve, and attain a better life. When we educators are less concerned about our own well-being and stability, we can better serve our students who need us most. Thank you.
So our wage is lower and our pay is not being raised. So with all this chiseling away, we didn't get to a good place, and more charters came in, but they don't deliver a better education. Kids are not all taken up in charters. They come back to our schools. They're happy to be back because they are being taught and not being put in front of a computer for hours at a time. So we really need to put it back where it matters. We need to put it back in the classroom, in the teacher-student relationship, and build upon that and not influence any other stuff.
Good evening, my name is Cecilia Valdez. I'm the present mayor of Sao Paulo, and I'm here to speak on behalf of my city, as we have not yet taken a position on charter schools, but I'm here to let you know where my heart is, and my heart is with our schools, our local schools, our local teachers, our parents, our students. And as you may recall, a few years ago, some of you, I, as a member of the council, fought very hard. We refused to let Lake School close. We fought very hard. My heart is with Lake School, with Dover, with AU, with Downer, Riverside, I do not support the privatization of public education. I think our best thing to do is to work with our local teachers, support our local teachers. If there's any deficiencies, let's work together for our public schools and our public schools. And I just want to say one more thing. I'm a former teacher, so I support teachers.
What do you mean, show me the money? Are they? You think the charters are siphoning off money from public schools?
I do think so, yes.
Pretty sure that's how that works.
How does it work?
That funding gets taken from public schools by charter schools?
Why are there so many charter schools going up in Richmond?
I don't.
It's like there are a lot of schools already in Richmond.
Yes, possibly because some individuals think that our schools aren't receiving the supports they need for their kids to succeed, so they would rather choose an alternative route, whereas I don't think the solution is to pour resources into an alternative route rather than strengthen the resources that are already in place for their kids. And I think the charter schools don't do a service for kids who may be falling behind or may have needs in education that cannot be met at the charter school level. So
they're about testing and a business model?
Testing and a business model, yes. And
We're speech therapists, we're special educators. So we find that for our kids, public schools are often the best fit because we're, legally mandated to have special education services for them, and that's, part of what we're built for. And we feel that a lot of times charter schools kind of fail our kids who need extra support. So that's why we want to maintain funding in public schools, because we're dedicated to working with kids who might have, special needs, and that's what we're there for, and we don't really want to be undermined by other routes.
What's your name?
Sylvia Sol.
And I'm Kareem Darwich.
What does that sign mean? What's your name?
Hi, my name's Colleen Ballantyne. For me, my concern about charters is that they don't accept students with special needs as a special education student. Teacher. That's a major issue for me. And the money issue is I'd like to pay rent and move out of my mom's house. That's something.
Do you think charters are deprofessionalizing education?
In all honesty, my main focus on it right now is the fact that they're not meeting all of the population's needs. So how public is that really when you're not addressing the needs of the entire public?
Yes, good evening, members of the board, Superintendent Duffy and Kristen Kaysen from the organizing committee. I wanted to say, first of all, Superintendent Duffy, was inspiring your welcome presentation until the part where you said our goal is to retain teachers and recruit them, and you mentioned nothing about salary or competitive wages. Teachers come in, we're giving, caring people, but we're tired of giving. We're tired of not being able to afford to pay our rent, to live in this area. We pay hundreds of dollars of our own money to buy materials for our classes, and we're tired. We didn't expect, when maybe you're trying to teach us empathy for low-income people in our area, we didn't expect with 4 years of college education and graduate school that we could not even afford to live in Richmond. We need competitive wages now and enough income to live in the Bay Area and where we work.
Okay, so we should have Rudy Gonzalez, then Andrew Brody, then Nellie Ponce, Sam Socia, LaShante Smith, and Rachel Smith.
Good evening, members of the board and staff. My name is Rudy Gonzalez. I'm not a teacher, I'm a teamster. There are 18...